In one word, how would you describe the student debt system?
Predatory.
Why?
Because of the conditioning students face their entire lives saying you must go to college in order to be successful, people are willing to pay whatever it takes to go to college. I'm convinced that this system was rigged to create the very crisis that we're in today.
All right, you are watching a clip from a new documentary airing tonight on MSNBC. It is called Lone Wolves, and it takes a deep dive into this nation's student loan crisis. Director of that film, Blake Zeff, joins me now. Blake, thanks for joining us on this. We appreciate it. I think there is this kind of misnomer about student debts where they think these are adults making bad decisions, when in fact these are teenagers, these are young people who are just trying to get a leg up, right? Go to college. And going to college is very expensive in this country. Talk us through why eliminating student debt is good for everybody.
Well, listen, I think you hit the nail on the head right there. We tell people in this country, young people, we say to them, work hard, do the right thing, go to school, better yourself, right? And then they do that, and many of them are handed with these enormous loan papers, that say things like, compounding interest in terms that we don't, really teach our 17-year-olds in this country. And they're told by guidance counselors and others, you do this, and then don't worry, you'll get a great job when you graduate, and you'll pay it all down. The problem is they end up saddled with, in some cases, hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt. And that doesn't just hurt them, it hurts us, like you say, because money that they could be spending instead towards the economy is now just debt that they'll never pay back. That money could go towards shopping, or, if they're, one person in the movie says, my couch is ripped up, but I can't afford to get a new one because of my student loans. And then that hurts the local furniture company. Or when my sink isn't working, I can't call my plumber. That hurts my plumber. So that's money that would be going back into the economy.
It's also rent. It could pay rent. It could buy food. It could buy food at the grocery store, especially now with prices the way that they are. Can we also talk about bankruptcy? Because when you talk about making bad decisions, you could declare bankruptcy, for instance, when it comes to gambling, excessive shopping, so on and so forth. And yet you cannot declare bankruptcy with student loans.
This is unbelievable. So we talk about this in the film. There were two lines in a 1998 higher education bill that was about 300 pages long. And these two lines were snuck in at the last second that basically said, oh, you can't discharge student debt in bankruptcy with, very small exceptions. And we went to reach out to the politician that had put that in there to say, 20, 25 years later, do you still think this is a good idea? And this is what really got amazing. No one would cop to it. No one put their name to it. So we didn't even know who to talk to about it. And so in some ways, the movie became a whodunit, where we spent years trying to track down who was responsible for this. We finally do find them and we confront them. And I think if people tune in tonight, they're going to be really surprised by what they see. It's really stunning stuff.
What is your biggest takeaway from this film as you kind of travel the country talking to folks?
I just think that, I worked in politics for a while. I worked in journalism for a while. I'd never seen an issue where there was such a really horrible impact on so many people, and yet it was so misunderstood by people in power, policymakers, the media, and so forth. People are just really getting crushed by this. And it's not just young people. It's also people who are older. There are people, who should be getting Social Security who are still paying down their student loans. And they get their Social Security garnished. You can have your wages garnished, your professional licenses revoked. This is really crushing so many people in this country. 45 million people have student debt in America at a total of almost $2 trillion. If this doesn't affect you, it definitely affects someone you know.
Blake Zeff, we thank you again. You can watch Blake's film, Lone Wolves, right here on MSNBC and streaming on Peacock tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern.